For my program, I created a replica of the board game Codebreaker, also known as Mastermind. In the game, there are two roles. One is the encoder and the other is the code breaker. The encoder, which can be a second player or the program, creates a random sequence of colors, the code. The code breaker must then guess the code, and they will get a limited number of attempts to do so. The program will then compare the guess to the code and generate an appropriate hint, as well as a corresponding plot to visualize the game's progress. The game ends when the code breaker guesses the correct code or runs out of guesses. I wrote this program independently using the Python for Everyone and Python machine learning textbooks as resources. My goal for this initial program was to be able to get user input for a code and a guess and then be able to compare them. This program had three main sections. First was the part that set the code, then accepted user input for the guess, and then checked if the guess was correct and displayed an appropriate message. I also focused on the concept of input validation, which we had covered in class, and as it was something new to me, I wanted to see if I could implement it in my code. My next step was to refactor my program to take a functional approach that organized the code and allowed me to follow my work. In the process, I had to decide what data structure I would use. Since I knew I needed ordered sequences of colors that I could add to and remove from, as well as index to eventually plot them, lists began to make the most sense. However, this does not mean that I didn't experiment with NumPy arrays, dictionaries, as I navigated my way through all of these different data structures. Ultimately, I realized the importance of choosing the right data structure for the needs of the program to ensure it stays as simple as possible. It was because of the decision to use lists that implementing a hint function was straightforward. While at this point it couldn't deal with repeated colors, it could give color and location matches as well as just color matches. For version 2, the next step was to create plots that visualized the game. To do so, I decided to use patches from Matplotlib, which we had learned about in class and seemed like a simple, readable approach. At this point, I felt like I had a working program. However, I was still missing the ability to handle repeated colors. Let's say I have a code red, orange, yellow, and I make a guess, red, red, blue. I would want the first red to show up as a color and a location match shown by the color black in the hint. However, I do not want the program to find a color match between the second red in my guess and that first red in the code, since a match for that red has already been found. This test case and many others really tested my logic, and I relied heavily on the hand tracing techniques we had learned in class to identify errors and their solution. The solution I eventually landed on was to initially check for exact color and location matches. Once I had found and considered these, I could remove those colors from my code and my guess so that I knew they were no longer colors I had to consider for possible matches. I would then consider only color matches, so some color in my guess exists in my code. Once I had found those matches, again I would remove each of those colors from the code so that I would not consider them for a second time and I was only working with the colors I was yet to match. While this process of working out the logical errors took a lot of patience, I learned a lot from it and I got pretty good at hand tracing because of it. For my final version, my goal was to polish my code and clean up the handling of my data. Since I had my guesses, my hints, and my codes, which were all sequences of colors with the same properties, I decided to create a class color sequence. An object of this class had a maximum length, so a maximum number of colors that it could hold, as well as a list of colors itself assigned to it. By using object-oriented programming, I got a consistent way of handling my data that I found more readable than constantly indexing lists. While this was not necessary for the function of my code, I'm glad that I completed this since I feel that it gave me a deeper understanding of the concepts we learned in class. My next steps, if I were to expand this program, would be to add a computer solver so that the user can play as the encoder, and the computer can go through a list of possible guesses, interpreting the hints to narrow this list down until it finds a match for the code. For this program, I really focused on using an incremental approach. Since the beginning, I've had the same three sections, one to set the code, one to guess, and then one to end the game. The second version, I was able to add new sections to plot and to provide hints. And in the third, I was able to refine all of these sections to make them more readable. I believe it is because I took an incremental approach that I was not only able to reach greater complexity than I expected, but I was able to understand what I was doing. For instance, I really got to know why lists were better at handling my sequences of colors, and I was able to have a foundation that I could test and build on so that I could get hints with an output that I was happy with. And I'm especially happy that I challenged myself to tackle object-oriented programming. And while I already have ideas for things to improve, I'm proud of the work and the learning I've done this semester.